Welcome to the Chaos Commanders podcast. I'm Annie, aka Commander A, military wife, mom of two, and seasoned in navigating deployments, juggling schedules, and life's unpredictable missions.
And I'm Katelynn, aka Commander K, solo mom to a busy, neurodivergent teenage boy, business owner, and skilled chaos wrangler.
We're here for the moms who do it all, the sideline CEOs, the late night warriors, the women leading in their homes, businesses, and beyond.
If you've ever felt like you're running a tactical operation just to get through the day, this is the place for you. We're bringing raw, unfiltered conversations, honest insights, and tangible strategies to help you command the chaos like the Wonder Woman you are.
So grab your coffee, wine, or whatever keeps you going, because we're diving in.
Hey, neighbor.
Hey.
We're not really neighbors, but I sure wish we were.
It's going to happen one of these days.
One day. I am going to move into your hood, and then we can just come over all the time.
Yes.
We already do, but it'll be so much easier.
It's like you can just walk up the street.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're all shooting for.
Yes. Caden will love that, too. All the kids will.
Yes. Oh, the terror.
We will be in big trouble then.
We will. Yes, we will. All the electric scooters and dirt bikes zooming around.
Yeah, I think we will no longer be commanding the chaos.
Nope, the chaos will be commanding us.
Exactly. If we are officially neighbors. So watch out for that trouble if it ever happens.
Right? Look out to my neighborhood.
Yep. So we have affectionately nicknamed our episode theme songs our chaos anthems. Would you like to share what today's chaos anthem is going to be?
No, I actually don't.
You're not going to share?
It's going to be a mystery. So
Okay.
Our listeners have to go and figure out what it is and why we did that.
Okay.
Because it's pretty funny.
They've got to listen to the episode to figure out why it's a secret and then go listen to the playlist
Yes.
to figure out what the song is.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we will all laugh.
Yes.
And it will be wonderful.
A little bit of a scavenger hunt
That's right.
for this chaos anthem. Okay. I love it. So last time we did What's My Snack? Today we're going to do What's My Recipe? So you go first. What's your recipe?
My recipe is also my snack. My recipe is blueberry pancake muffins. We will attach a link to it. It's from my protein pantry. Super yummy. I am addicted to these things. I told a couple friends about them. They're addicted to them. It's like Kodiak cakes. If you are familiar with Kodiak cakes, it's pancakes. You can make muffins. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. It's a lot of protein and it's super delicious. And blueberries, like, how can you go wrong with blueberries?
Exactly.
So it's like the perfect amount of, they're not super sweet, so don't get hung up on that. You can also bake them and then pour a little maple syrup on them. They have maple syrup in them, but these suckers are dense and they're filling and they're delicious. And you've had them before.
Yes, I have, and they are so good.
And Caden's had them, and
He
he's like,
has.
these are great. I'm going to eat these.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yep.
like, no, you can only have one.
We loved them. They are very good. So yes, go try them.
Yes.
Check out the link.
What's your recipe?
My recipe, okay, so it sounds boring. It comes with a disclaimer, but it's super helpful and really helps with quick meals, leftovers, that type of thing. So it is called, dun dun dun, oven baked chicken breasts. The recipe comes from Yellow Bliss Road is the website, and we will link it in the show notes and on the blog. But I found this because I used to make, chicken breasts in the oven all the time, and they would turn out really dry. And these do not turn out that way. So it has to do with, I guess, just the way that you prepare these. One of the things that I loved is that you can make a really quick meal by just having this as the main dish and then creating whatever sides you want to go with it. But the recipe, how whenever you find a recipe, it always has a blog that goes with it.
Right. There's 14 pages before you get to the recipe.
Exactly. Well, in those 14 pages of content, she did mention that she cooks extra because she uses this same chicken for casseroles and soups. And sometimes she'll put it on her salad or make like a chicken Caesar wrap. And so I started doing the same thing. I actually will prepare this chicken. We call it spicy chicken because if you don't like spice, you might find it a little bit spicy, but I like it. I prepare extra because I started putting it in chicken and dumplings. I found that my mom's chicken and dumplings were getting a little bland, and I was like, I want to spice those up a bit. So I used this, and it actually made them really good. So
that sounds amazing. That's like my meal prepping heart is like, yes, I am here for this.
Exactly. And I know we're going to do some meal prepping episodes and tips and tricks in the future. So I figured, hey, give them a head start, and we'll share this recipe.
I'm going to have to check this recipe out so I can
Absolutely.
use my oven baked chicken
Exactly.
in some of my tips and tricks that I share down the road.
Yeah. So we'll put that link there too. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell me about Katelynn currently.
So I recently learned that at 39 years old, I can no longer pull all-nighters.
Oh, God bless you. I learned that a long time before 39.
Yeah, I am a night owl. We have talked about this before, how we are different, and you are a morning person. I'm a night owl. And I was so excited about launching this podcast. And
she was amazing. Like, it was all you. Like, the launch is all Katelynn.
Aw, well, I mean, it did not happen without errors and things happening that I didn't plan for, and there were things that I wanted to put out that I didn't get to because it's life, right? Like, we have other things going on. But our assistant, Megan, she's amazing, and she helped, and she's a night owl too, so she stayed up pretty late with me the night before we launched, and I pulled an all-nighter and had to work the next day at my regular job as well. And oh my gosh, it just wrecked me. Like, I still feel like I am recovering from that. So.
I feel like I'm recovering for you. I did offer to bring her lots of coffee, so yes. I was in it for that part.
You did, time. But yeah, I had plenty of coffee at home, so I was all good. A couple of years ago, there would be times where I would be dealing with a client launch and I would stay up really late or all night, and it wouldn't really faze me too much. Apparently, that time has passed. I cannot do that anymore. So
welcome to your 40s.
Exactly. So no more all-nighters for me. That's what I'm dealing with currently, just recovering from that.
Love it.
So what about you? What's the Annie update?
So, you know how, I don't even know if there's a word for, I've actually looked for the word for this, and I've seen things on like it's ADHD, which like I guess maybe I have ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, but who knows? It could be. But you know how when we're talking, and it doesn't matter what we're talking about, if I hear a song, I'll just start singing it. I haven't done it on the podcast yet, but it's coming.
Yep.
So I call that song blurting.
Mm-hmm.
And you either love that or hate that about me, but that is very much who I am.
Yes.
Okay. And so I've been waiting to have passed this on to my children. And the other day, my mom and I were having quite a straightforward conversation. And I was like, I'm never going to give. And all of a sudden, Raina comes in and she's like, I'm never going to give you up. I'm never going to let you down. Not only was I like super proud that she just song blurted me, because amazing. I love that. But she also like did the kid version of rickrolling me.
Yes.
So
she did. She is her mama's daughter.
She's her mama's daughter, and I love it. And I was dying laughing because my mom couldn't really appreciate. My mom doesn't understand what rickrolling is or like that song. I don't even know if she really knows that song, but it was hysterical. I'm like, we have to stop right now because I have to cherish this moment for a minute. So
yes,
I got rickrolled by my kid.
Yeah,
love
and
that.
so
10
now,
years old.
Yeah, exactly. And so now I'm sure that she's gonna start doing that to you, and I'm sure that you're gonna have these moments where you're like trying to scold her or having a serious conversation with her, and
it's
she's
coming.
Just gonna bust out into song,
and I'm gonna be so proud, but also like, shame on, you're in trouble, but I need to laugh for a minute.
Way to go, Raina.
Oh, so funny. So funny.
I love it. That is amazing. Well, so today's episode, I guess we can dive into everything that we're going to talk about. We have lots of cool tips and tricks for community and being good neighbors and creating good community with your neighbors and all the things. So I know that this kind of, I guess the concept of this episode came from a couple of fun stories that you had. and some blog ideas that you had from back when you were writing a blog.
Yep.
And so, yeah, let's just chat about your first tips. So we are going to share several tips for listeners today about how to just create community whenever you are having to move around. So if you're a military family or if you're a single mom creating a new community, whatever the case may be, how you can find your people and create connection. And so we have some great tips for you.
I know we just hit on community last week, but it's so important. I mean, I think if you are part of any sort of a Facebook community group out there, you find, I don't have people. I need people. How do I find people? What's the best way? And so it's near and dear to my heart being a military wife and having a family and having to have had to move a lot, that you need your community. And so we just wanted to touch on some really special things that have worked specifically for myself and my family.
Yeah.
So when I was starting out and I was kind of new to the military spouse world, I was getting ready to move from New York to Indy, and I was leaving an incredible community behind. And for me, that was really something that was quite important to me. So I was reading like tips and tricks on moving and being a military spouse. And one of the things that it said was when you change your duty station, once you get to your new one, you should write your phone number on a watermelon and leave it on your neighbor's porches. And then they have, or give it to them. But if they're not there, leave it on their porch and be like, I'm so-and-so and I'm your new neighbor.
Yeah.
And I loved that, but I felt a little bit intimidated about doing a watermelon because I don't know if you know this, but watermelons, when warm enough, will spontaneously combust.
I did not know that.
This actually happened to me in a house I was living in when I was out in New York. And I had this great looking watermelon sitting on my floor for a couple of days. And I came home from work one night and it looked like a murder scene in my kitchen. The watermelon had spontaneously combusted.
Oh my gosh. So that's not really something that you want to leave for your neighbors.
No, a little shy to do that. So Andre and I talked about it and we decided for us what was in our budget is that we would get some bottles of wine that we really liked and we would put them in a wine bag, but we would make sure that the wine bag had a tag on it so we could write our names and our phone numbers.
Yeah.
And we've never actually had to leave one on a doorstep. We've never wanted to. We've always wanted to make sure that the neighbors were home when we gave it to them. But then it's always nice to be like, here, this is a bottle of wine. We're your new neighbors. By the way, our names and our phone numbers are on the tags. And so for us, we were able to draw more attention to it because our area codes were similar, but not the same. There was one number that was different. And so for us, we were like, oh, and by the way, just pay attention because his area code is different.
Yep.
So, anything like that you can do, it just really helps you start building your community and getting to know your neighbors because there's not a single person yet that we've handed this bottle of wine to them and they've been like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
Like they have something to say or, where did you come from or small talk, right? Your community starts with your next door neighbors. And so, yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's a really cool tip. And I think that there are some other options out there for people. If maybe a bottle of wine for all of their neighbors is not in their budget right now, they can something that I saw was go ask to borrow something from a neighbor. And then whenever you return it, and it can just be something small, like maybe you need a measuring cup that you're missing, especially after you've just moved, we lose things all the time in a move. So maybe there's something that you just need to borrow from them. And then whenever you return it, just include a little thank you note or card and put your phone number on that whenever you return the item to them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Or do something, I think even when we were kind of talking about this, you mentioned like gummy snacks,
Yeah, right. Fruit snacks. Everybody likes fruit snacks.
Exactly. So just something small. It doesn't have to be a huge grand gesture or anything, but any way that you can just make that effort, put your phone number out there so that they can contact you, but you can just create that connection, knock on their door, and hopefully get to introduce yourself. So.
Right. And a lot of times what ends up happening with that is, they chat with you for a little bit and then they go inside and they see your phone number and then they text you. And then now you have their number and you can respond back and say, hey, thanks. It was so great to meet you. I've got you as contact in my phone now. The next thing we're going to talk about is emergency contacts when you move to a new location. So now you have given your phone number, you have received a phone number from your neighbors, and now you can start building those bridges to a friendship. But also, what is the number one thing that you need when you have children, when you go anywhere? An emergency contact, which can be very daunting when you've just moved. So for us, for military family, like you have to set up shop and get ready to go. And now your kid is going to daycare, or they're going to school, or they're playing a sport, or this, that, and the other. And that is the very first thing that they want. And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have anybody. And so you had a funny story about someone you had to ask, right?
Yes. So when we moved to Georgia, right away, we started going to the YMCA there, which they conveniently had a CrossFit. There was a CrossFit gym inside of the YMCA. And I literally met this woman, Katie. And she, everybody pretty much in this gym is military related. So they all kind of get it. But I'm like, hey, I'm new here and you seem like you're really nice. Like, she was helping me through the workout, get my gear and all of that. And it's like, you have kids, so can you be my emergency contact? And we just I remember laughing so much about it with her because she's like, I've totally been there. I get it. I will absolutely, let me meet your kids. Joel was a teeny tiny baby. No, Joel wasn't born yet. Oh. Raina was teeny tiny. I mean, she was 2.5. Shortly after that, I found out I was pregnant with Joel. And so it ended up being great. Katie ended up being the one who kept Raina for us when I delivered Joel. Oh, wow. So that's what happens when you put yourself out there. Yeah. So it was really funny because we just were cracking up, the song Call Me Maybe. And it was like, hi, I just met you and this is crazy, but will you be my emergency contact?
Yep, exactly. And it can be very awkward, but sometimes you just have to do it, right?
You have to do it.
You need those people. You need someone in an emergency when there is nobody else but you because your significant other is gone, or maybe you don't have a significant other.
Right. You yourself have been through a major emergency. Yeah. And you had to have somebody. And so the sooner you can build those connections, the better off you are.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of other things about emergency contacts is that we were thinking about some different ways that you can, prepare yourself, right? It's awkward to have to ask these things, right? To just go up to someone in a gym. So maybe draft a message in your notes on your phone so that once you have connected with some of these people, you could have a little pre-written message that you have decided sounds, not super creepy. You could send out that's like,
I'm a creep. Yeah.
Right? There's so many songs.
There's so many songs right now.
She just did a song for it, everybody. It has finally happened on the podcast. But yeah, you can have something like, hey, I know this sounds random, but I need an emergency contact. I'm glad we connected and was just wondering if I could put you down on the kids' school forms in case something ever happens and I'm not available, that type of thing. Right. So there is that. But then also, if you know that you're in a situation or in groups where you have other moms in similar situations, so other military moms, other single moms, you can do swap a spot where you're going to be their emergency contact and they're going to be the same thing for you.
Sure.
And so you can just ask people, hey, if you need one, I can be one for you. And would you mind being mine? And so especially in your scenario, it made sense. People were expecting that there's going to be other people, other moms that need that because they've been in those shoes before.
Sure. And I think it's so important to tap into your community Facebook pages too. Yes. I mean, you were just telling me me.
Yeah, absolutely. So figuring out how to create community. So this one wasn't so much about emergency contacts, but this one was just about being able to create community and have friends, right? So I think this was after I had my medical emergency, and my mom was super nervous about going back to Oklahoma because she just came for a temporary stay that time.
Right.
And she was really nervous about going back. And she was like, lady, you have got to make some friends. And I am just such an introvert that I'm like, whatever, I don't need friends. Like, I'm fine.
I never need help.
And so she's like, you have got to have friends. Like, I'm so worried about you. And I just need to know that there are people here that you can call if you need something. And, we had martial arts, but still, like, was I ever going to call Master Wood and be like,
absolutely not.
Hey,
she still wasn't talking to me either.
Yeah, like I don't even think I had met you yet at this point. You weren't even there. And so I was like, oh, I have to make my mom happy and just like find some people. And so I went onto one of our local town Facebook groups. I put a post out there that was like, hey, I am a single mom, moved here from Oklahoma. We haven't met that many people yet. I have a kiddo that is this age. If there are any other moms out there that are looking for friends, I would love to meet some mom friends that we could get together and have our kids hang out, do something, and just connect, right? And so I had several people reply. And one of the ladies that we met up with, we went to the park and we see them, and my son kind of runs over to her son and he looks back at me and he says, Mom, we know them. And I look up and I'm like, we do? And he's like, yeah, they go to martial arts with us.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. And I look over and I see this woman, and she was a mom who I had seen in uniform at the academy before because she was a soldier. Yes. She was a soldier. And so not only was she military, she was a single mom. And so just, amazing that she was in the same boat that I was in, right?
And the super funny, full circle to that story is that she ended up being one of the soldiers that was on a deployment with my husband.
Yes, because so her and I met, we hit it off immediately and we became good friends, and we would go hiking. She was like my first hiking buddy before you and I started taking our kids out. And so we would go hiking with the boys, and we would do things at their house sometimes and got along really well with them and everything. But shortly after we became friends, she got deployed, and she got deployed for a year, and her kiddo was here with his grandfather. And so, that was hard because, it was like, man, it was hard to see him missing his mom. And it was hard for us because it was like, man, we just made this good friend. Like, that stinks. We hadn't met you guys at this point yet, but then you started martial arts shortly after. And it wasn't until just a few months ago that we put all of this together and realized that she was deployed with your husband during all of that. So
wild. He has pictures of them together where they were deployed, and it's so funny. Life is so funny how it comes full circle.
It is. So that was something that was really helpful, was the Facebook group and just putting yourself out there, and basically put a dating profile on Facebook, but it was for mom friends, right?
Right.
And it was so funny because after I did that, I've seen so many other moms doing that. They're like, hey, I need mom friends. Here's my hobbies. Here's what I like to do. Here are things that my kids enjoy doing. Are there any other moms with kiddos around the same age who have similar interests that we could kind of, get together? Because it is just so hard to find and make friends as adults. So that can be a really good tool. And then one of the other things that we were going to talk about was kind of hosting a mini meetup. So if you live in a neighborhood, or even if you are in an apartment complex or some type of multi-family housing, something that you could do is kind of like a mom's on the driveway evening with, bring a chair, have them bring a drink. Even if the kids happen to be there, let them play if it's like a cul-de-sac situation or something, and just have that be a super low pressure way for several moms to get together. And that's something that a lot of times there will be a Facebook group specifically for a neighborhood. And so you could even put something like that in a neighborhood thing and just be like, hey, I live on this street. I would love to have some moms come get together and just get to know each other. And if you want to include kids, let the kids come play. And so do something like that to try to meet people. And if it's not like a one-on-one situation, you can have more people show up and just kind of see what happens. That might be a little bit more low pressure, and you don't have to entertain either.
Right.
You don't have to have people come inside. You have to cook for them. You can just kind of meet each other and see how that goes. So that was another idea.
Yeah, I love it. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be awkward, and you just embrace the weird.
Yes, absolutely. It's always going to be awkward trying to meet new people. Another thing that we had talked about too was a just in case. So this is kind of like a question we have for listeners, and something that you and I can even like ask ourselves too, I guess. And that is, to our listeners, do you have 3 people in your phone that you could text if you had a flat tire or needed help with your kid's school pickup, or if you just had a bad day? And if you don't have 3 people that you can name pretty quickly, then that should be like a cue that you need to start gently building that net of people that you can rely on.
It's hard to ask for help, but here's the thing. Everybody wants to help.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that so many times over the last bazillion years, it feels like. I've been a military spouse, is people want to help you. You just have to be able to say, I need help with this. And they will come. And just do that hard thing and say what you need.
Yes, absolutely. And like we were just talking about with a little bit of the awkwardness, everyone is going to be awkward at first. Not everybody is going to become your best friend, right? Like there's so many different things that can happen. All of it is normal. You can just start small. Things don't have to become instant friendships. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on it, I guess,
Right.
is the best way to look at it. And it's not built overnight.
No.
So casserole by casserole.
That's right.
Text by text.
I love it.
So we have a connection challenge for listeners, and it's nothing specific, but we just want to challenge listeners to think about the tips that we've shared today and think about ways that you might feel comfortable reaching out to people in your community in different ways, and try to meet someone new. Try to expand your network. Try to go add an emergency contact if you need one.
Yes. Go be brave and
Yes.
share it with us. We're going to make a post on the Chaos Commanders Facebook page so that you guys can jump on there and let us know what you're doing, and like bonus points for creativity.
Yeah.
So let us know what you are doing and let us celebrate you doing that. And maybe you'll inspire us and you'll inspire others, and we can use your tips and tricks too.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, we'll leave you with that. And the only other thing is just a reminder about our song, our Chaos Anthem.
Yes.
So we didn't
Go check it out.
Yeah, we didn't announce it. So just a reminder that if you are not a podcast person, we do have blogs on our website. Right now, it has our show notes. It won't go into, it's not a full transcript. It's not the full detail of everything that we've talked about, but you can at least get a general idea. You can get important links. You can see some photos, and you can get access to all of the platforms where our playlists are for all of our Chaos Anthem songs.
You can even listen to each episode from our website.
Yeah, exactly. So if you just want a quick way to grab some of the most important things and the episode highlights, you can go check out the blog. So thechaoscommanders.com is the website, and go do your connection challenge, and we will have a Facebook post out and be ready to talk to you about how you did on the challenge and see how creative you got. And we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Yes. That's a wrap.
All right, Chaos Crew, that's a wrap for today. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow commanders.
Don't forget, we're all in this together. Join the conversation in our Chaos Commanders community on Instagram and Facebook, where we keep it real, raw, and ridiculously fun.
Remember, our fears establish the limits of our lives, so go push past them.
And always leave others better than you found them.